How did I turn this sketch into this abstract painting? Lately I've been indulging myself and experimenting with abstracts. So with this one, I'm going to share my process and the thoughts behind it. So let's get into the video. You're probably wondering, why have I got this sketch and now I'm going to paint it on the canvas? What is the whole point of this messy sketch? Well, there's actually a story behind this. It's an inspiration drawing of a tree that's in front of my house, and I've been in my house for now 20 years, and every year this tree blooms and it's actually quite beautiful because it has red leaves, and I like to look at it from my upstairs window, which I do quite often. And in the winter, when it doesn't have the leaves, it actually looks like a couple of eyes looking at me, actually, the way the branches are. So the reason why I've been inspired to paint this tree is because, unfortunately, this year it didn't bloom. I was chatting to my neighbour about it and I'm just like, I think it's dead. And she says, no, maybe it's just late for the blooming. I went, no, it should be bloomed by now. So we think the tree is dead. So before the council knows about it and they come and chop it down, I decided to just run out there with my little sketchbook and just sketch the main branches of the tree and the shapes of it, which is why throughout this video you'll see as if there's like an eye appearing, but it's just what it looks like on the shape of the tree anyway. So I did this sketch and I've brought it in, and then I've decided to do this abstract painting and see how it turned out. And I suppose it's like having a memory, because when the council does come and chop it down, it's actually going to be a bit sad. Okay, so my painting process of why I decided to make the decisions and do what I do. Well, as you can see, I'm just playing and throwing stuff around, paint, acrylic inks, and I use some alcohol inks as well. I used this little blue plastic thing to see if I can spread stuff around. It wasn't really successful, but you know, you got to try different things, and using this white ink was actually quite good. I've got no plans still, just putting stuff everywhere. I know that I'm painting over the sketch that I've got on there, but it just makes me aware of the shape of the tree and where things are, because I can still see the painting lines through this. And I know I'm using a hairdryer, but I just needed to dry it because I wanted to carry on painting. I didn't want to just let it dry on its own and then having to come back another time. So I'm now going to do the second layer, which is why I'm moving the easel up so I can start putting some open acrylics and heavy body acrylics and see what sections need painting over and what I see there, and manipulate it into what I want it to sort of look like, but then I don't know what it's going to look like. It's like a spur of the moment thinking on the spot. And at this stage, as you can see, it doesn't look like anything. It's just a mess. But wait for it. I started to work on this next layer, and like I said, I'm actually using open acrylics because they are actually quite good to blend. They're in between oil and acrylics, if anyone doesn't know what they are. I'm using some transparent paint so I can just do a little bit of fading out, but you can see all the work that I've done so far underneath it. And I'll also be using some opaque paint where I want to actually paint over some of the stuff that I don't want to still show. But at this point I'm still playing and I'm trying to work on what I feel. So I'm just like, I feel like putting that brush stroke there, a little dab there. And as you can see, that eye that I was talking about earlier, it does look like an eye, but that's the shape of the tree, like I said. I'm now emphasising the branches that I want to show, but with the stippling technique, which is what I like to do, just to bring those main branches forward again from under all of that abstract that I've been doing. And then it will start to hopefully look sort of like a tree, but not like an actual tree, if you sort of know what I mean, because it's an abstract painting. At this point, I'm looking at areas where I want to brighten areas up, where I want to darken areas just to give it some contrast so it doesn't look flat. Working on sort of the background area around the abstract mess that I've created. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm looking at it as a whole and thinking to myself, what can I see and can I manipulate it into what I see? And I've decided that this tree has two sides of it. So this side, well, I did this all over to start off with, but I'm just putting some of those smaller branches so you can see that it's actually a tree. And after I did that, I'm just thinking, what am I going to do next? Knowing that this is actually a dead tree. And just before I carry on talking about when I mentioned that the tree seems to be in two parts, the blue section that I painted that was diagonally, it's acting as night and day, but I just did like diagonally. I didn't do the whole background in it. That's just how I decided to do it. So I've got these stencils of birds and I use my spray paint. And I really had to put some birds in this because birds are always sitting in all trees, aren't they? And we used to get a lot of grey doves sitting here and blackbirds and all the little tiny little sparrows as well. And it just wouldn't be right if I didn't put any birds in it. So I got the blackbird flying away on one direction and I've got little white birds flying away on this second section. So I mentioned before that it felt like that this painting, this tree, was in two sections. So this section here is like a ghost because the tree has died and it's like the tree spirit is leaving the tree. But then the other side, I didn't do it on the other side because it's not quite gone yet because, well, the tree hasn't even been chopped down yet. So we've still got it, if you know what I mean. And I used a very dry brush to get the ghost look. And what I found interesting is as I was painting the ghosty look and also the opaque white, the abstract on the that I was painting over, the colours were coming through and I thought that looked quite pretty. So on this other side here, I'm painting this owl, but we've never had an owl in the tree. I just decided to paint one in there because it looked like a shape of an owl and so I manipulated it. And so that's why that's there. No other reason. Never had one in there. And when I looked at the other black blobs around these main branches, I thought I would change them into blackbirds as well. And I'm hand drawing this other bird in there because I just wanted to show a nice coloured wings on, I don't know what type this bird is, but I just had to include it because I thought it was quite pretty and it was just needed to put something like that in this space. But you can see that the abstract on this side, I've actually left quite a lot of the abstract on there. I've not painted over it because I quite like the way it looked. But this is the final stage where I am actually working on details. So I'm just emphasizing the ghost look by doing some dry brushing and putting some more of that in there. I like all the little glowy sparkles coming off of it as well, as if it's like the little spirits. And you can see all the white birds going with it. The eye that sticks out there, I've left it like that. I think it looks quite attractive, and it's for that particular tree. That's why it's there, because it's identity. That's what I'm trying to say. And on this other part of the tree, I'm putting some nice glittery paint on it, just so it looks shiny. So here's a closer look of the details. I hope you're enjoying the video. If you would like to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, it would help greatly. You'll have to maybe leave me a comment to let me know what you think. Did I do this tree justice? I think it turned out quite well. It's interesting how an abstract comes together. If you would like a copy of this painting yourself, you can buy a print of it in my Redbubble shop. There will be a link of that in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed the video and watched my process of how I created this abstract painting. This is one of my other abstract paintings that I've created. There's a video of this if you would like to see that as well. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. And also there's a video of my very first abstract. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.